themselves into formation for this pre-final of the Grand Trophy of Hong Kong. It's a 22-lap race. The final will be over 28 laps, but 22 laps still stamina sapping, and a strong Italian influence. The top four on the grid from Italy. Danilo Rossi, world champion in this Formula A category, and alongside him Giancarlo Fischella. More about him a little later. Trulli in kart number 3, and Giancarlo Malandruccio in kart number 4. Now we're looking for the lights. Will they change to green? They do. They're off. And it was a good smooth start, and coming up, kart number 7, Mary Radney, had a terrific start, and I think she's come up into fourth position as we watch them go round the tennis court area, up under the trees, in front of the big banner, the sharp left turn. There they go into the S's. A handy lead for Danilo Rossi, and Trulli has come up. Trulli was second in the time trials on Friday. Fischella, who was up into second place on the grid, was down in 5th place. And Mary Radney, the girl from Sweden who made her debut here last year in the GT race, has come right up into 4th place, so she's going extremely well. Oh, one rider goes very wide there down at the tennis court area. Now, I should explain that this particular formula, Group 1 Formula A, was introduced this year, and it's the first time that this category of race has been run in Hong Kong. It's similar, I suppose, to last year's Super 100, which bridged the gap between the top of the range, Formula K, and the usual Group A Intercon class that has been the main Grand Prix race in Hong Kong. But on the third of 22 laps, it's still Rossi from Trulli from Fischella, who won the Intercon A last year, was the winner of the main race last year. He's very good in traffic. Fischella came from 13th right up to 3rd in the pre-final last year, I remember, working well through traffic. Malandruccio is 4th, Guy Smith is 5th, and Mary Radney's dropped down to 6th, and Donny Krevels from Holland is in 7th place. Round that sweep in front of the tennis grandstand, they're nicely spaced out, not too much dicing, so it's quite comfortable for them as they bunch up into that tight left-hander, into the S's now. They're on lap 4. One poor soul's gone out. There's no clutch on these karts, of course, so they have to bump start them, and they look like the Hong Kong driver, Kenneth Look. But there's the leader, Danilo Rossi from Fischella. Well, Fischella rather in 3rd place, Trulli keeping on Rossi's heels. But this race dominated by the Italians, and a bit of a jolt there as they go over the filled-in channel. So 2 by 2, you've got a little pairing for the front two there, Rossi and Trulli. And the 3rd and 4th place battle between Fischella and Malandruccio. Guy Smith from Britain and Donny Krevels from Holland in the wake. But they're about a second and a half down on this leading bunch. A little bit of a slide there from Danilo Rossi, but he keeps it under control. And they really have pulled away this leading bunch of 5. On lap 6, 16 laps to go, the rear wheel lifts off the ground as Trulli just comes around that left-hander down on the main straight, full throttle, hard on the brakes as they slide the kart round. Very smooth driving from the lead driver, Danilo Rossi. Keeping well away from that red and white curbing, the loop which has caused so many problems over the last few days, and indeed over the last year it was introduced. Second longest straight down towards the pits, the pit access lane just on the left. You saw that as they come down in front of the pits. Now the main straight. Probably the best chance for overtaking is on the first turn. You've just got to get a little bit offline, and a driver can come in between you and just slide his cart, block any counter-attack, and then you've got a fairly easy position to defend as you go down through the tennis court area. But they're up into the S's now. Rossi from Trulli, from Fischella, from Malandruccio. Guy Smith just now he's caught up just a little bit onto fourth place man. Guy Smith from Britain, and Donny Crevels a little further back, about a second down, and Jan Neumann from Denmark just creeping up a little. Murray Radney now down into 8th position. It's quite a battle actually between 8th, 9th and 10th between Murray Radney, Didier Andre and Xavier Pompidou. Those latter two Frenchmen, you wouldn't guess with those names, would you? On lap 9. Well, still that 3rd, 4th and 5th place can't get on terms with these front runners. A little bit confusing. You see the 9 on the front of Fischella's cart. That was obviously the number from a previous race. No problems there identifying 1 and 3. Danilo Rossi, cart number 1. He started on grid position. He was fastest in time trials from the current 2nd place man, Jarno Trulli. They've got about a second benefit over the 3rd, 4th and 5th place trio of Fischella, Malandruccio and Guy Smith. They come down the straight, and Jarno Trulli really has to get a little bit closer there if he's going to attack on that first bend. Round the tennis court loop, still no problems. Guy Smith just fallen away a little bit. This 22-lap race to decide the final grid positions for the GT race. The GT race will be held at 4 o'clock this afternoon after we're off air. But prize money for this race, 40,000 Hong Kong dollars. It's up it's up $5,000 from last year's GT race. Kenneth Look, currently the top Hong Kong man, is in 13th position, cart number 15, and he's some 12 seconds behind this battle for the lead. Timing, a great help, supplied by AMB products from Holland. I keep mentioning it, it's worth doing it again. A little transponder is fitted to each cart, and it trips a timing mechanism as they cross the start-finish line. So we have a good and accurate record of how many laps each driver's completed, and the differential time between each drivers. For instance, it's 0.431 between Rossi and Trulli up at the lead, and then it's a further 1.522 seconds till you get back to Fischella and Malandruccio. Down the start-finish straight again to start lap 14. 8 laps to go. Well, it's pretty much a procession at the moment between the first two. Then a slight gap between Giancarlo Fischella and Gianluca Malandruccio. Then another second gap to Guy Smith. From Great Britain, who's got the cart number 9, who's the real grid number 9, not the Fischella version. Down they go again. Donny Crevels is still in 6th place, cart number 6, so he started 6th on the grid and he's still in that position as they come into that S's area. Overhead camera looking down way back from the back of Victoria Park over by the Windsor House area of Causeway Bay. This is the excuse me, the low-level camera. Just adjusting the mixture as they come into the slower section, try and rich up the mixture as they accelerate down into the S's, into the second longest straight. Then the world wanna know what. And this has been a very smooth ride for Danilo Rossi as he comes up to complete 6. Well, Rossi showing all the qualities that made him a world champion in this Formula A category earlier this year. And he hasn't really been under pressure. Jarno Trulli has been there from the very start, on the very first lap. We look back to Guy Smith now, who's 2 seconds adrift of 4th place. And he's being pressed by Donny Krebels in kart number 6. So this is the battle you're watching now for 5th and 6th position, as the leaders still comfortably Danilo Rossi from Jarno Trulli, and Rossi's just pulling away just a little bit. Well, he's not had to do much defending, Danilo Rossi. There's one thing that tires you when you've got a man snapping at your heels the whole time. You're trying to fend him off to keep your position, and you don't want to get too bogged down with that battle, because there'll be others coming up from behind as well. But it looks very comfortable for Rossi all the way, and he's pulling out even further now. And the 3rd and 4th place men are dropping back. Guy Smith has just got a little bit of leeway ahead of Danny Krebels. Jan Neumann, who sat in 7th place for 4 or 5 laps now, still there. Marie Radney is in 8th place, the girl from Sweden. Didier Andre in 9th. Fabio Belletti has come up from 16th place on the grid to take 10th spot from Xavier Pompidou from France. Top Hong Kong driver still Kenneth Look in 12th position. Then Tony Lamb, Patrick Pally from Australia, Raymond Chan, Pierre Redeker from Sweden, Albert Tang from Hong Kong, Kawamoto from Japan, Richard Gomez from the Philippines, and Johnny Tan also from the Philippines. On lap 20. This really has been a bit of a stroll for Danilo Rossi. His lead over Jarno Trulli was almost a second as they came over the line for the last lap. What will it be this time? Well, it's over a second, 1.285. And a 2-second gap now down to Giancarlo Fisichella, Mandruccio, Krebels, Newman, Radney, Guy Smith, Didier Andre, and Belletti. So we're not really getting too many position changes in this race. Danilo Rossi coming up to start his last lap. He gets the signal, last lap. Comfortably ahead of Jarno Trulli, 1.232. Well, that was pretty much what it was when they started lap 20. That bumps over the channel that's been filled in. The concrete's been breaking up there over the last few days, because they started time trials on Thursday, practice on Thursday, time trials on Friday. So that area's had quite a bashing. As into pit straight comes Danilo Rossi for the last time. Well, he'll be secured in the knowledge that he's got pole position for the start of the GT race this afternoon. Jarno Trulli will be 2nd place on the grid. Giancarlo Fisichella 3rd. Malandruccio will be 4th. Donny Krebels. Then Maria Radney will be 6th. Jan Neumann from Denmark. Guy Smith, Andre Didier. And the top Hong Kong man, Kenneth Look, as he's been throughout the race, will start 12th place on the grid.